Yes, we're here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh for the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League, and it is the action, of course, from Group 2 in Division 1, and it is between Cork. We're here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh for the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League, and it is the action, of course, from Group 2 in Division 1, and it is between Cork and Tipperary. Hopefully you've wintered well, maybe even springed well as well, because we're into summer. You wouldn't think it with the clouds overhead and the hailstones that has been seen across the country, but we are here for league action in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It's Cork against Tip, as I already mentioned. My name is Killian Whelan, and joining me as always is Elaine Aylward. And Elaine, something to look forward to. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. Look, it's all GA and Camogie. People want us to get back on the field and get playing, and look, what a better pitch to be in today than Páirc Uí Chaoimh. The surface is like an absolute carpet out there, so just really looking forward to throwing now at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we better make mention of the surface. It is in great nick. Great credit to everybody here in keeping it so, but whether everything like that is going to, we reckon, have an impact, because it is quite greasy.
Yeah, look, it's going to be the first day out. Obviously, it's funny. It's been, over 6 months since these teams have played a competitive action, and they've only got, 3 weeks training under their belt together collectively. So look, you'd expect fitness levels to be high. The strength and condition coaches will have had a big say over the last 6 months, I'm sure, but hurling maybe to be a little bit off. And as you said, greasy conditions may not help that today, but look, isn't it just great to be back?
Great to be back. A different kind of league, Elaine. So what do you really expect? We'll probably hear from some of the managers shortly. I'm sure there'll be a bit of experimentation, because they'll be targeting championship. Yeah,
it's a funny one. Like you said, it's a shortened league, so you've got your 2 group games, and then you're into kind of knockout, maybe quarter-final, semi-final and final if you're lucky enough. So it's to strike the right balance, I think, between finding those new players, giving them a bit of experience at this level, but at the same time you don't want to be losing matches unnecessarily. It's a short turnaround now into championship, so you want to be building a bit of momentum, and at the same time you need to try and avoid injuries to key players. So it's a real balancing act for the managers, but look, 2 really experienced managers here today in Paddy and Bill, so I'm sure they'll have the mix just right.
Sure they will. We're going to hear from those 2 guys shortly, and we'll also be talking up the game with Elaine before throwing. All gets underway at 2 o'clock officially, and of course in the middle today will of course be Liz Dempsey, and she'll be keeping an eye on the action, but we will be here bringing the best of it to you on the Camogie Association YouTube and on Littlewoods Ireland Twitter account. So make sure and stick with us throughout the afternoon. More to come from the managers. Tipperary manager, glad to be back out on the field of play in a competitive action.
Gosh, look, that's all we wanted all year. Every player wants to be on the field playing their game. Delighted to be in Cork. Tough task ahead, but sure, look, we're here to try and win it. And as I say, delighted to be out. I think everybody's looking forward to the game and playing.
League campaign last year, obviously, Bill, you got to a final. You haven't unfortunately got to be able to play it. It'd be nice maybe to get back around those final quarters again. Do you think?
Yeah, well, look, that's why we're here, hoping to develop and through the league, find players, find new systems, see where we are really. I suppose every manager thinks they're going right well in training at the minute. It's only when you get on the field that you're going to know where exactly you are. So yeah, we're trying to get to the league final just like everybody else, and trying to win it.
That'll do me. Thanks, Bill.
Sounds
good. That's all we need. Murray, Cork manager, glad to be back out on the field of play.
Yeah, it is. Look, we're a long time waiting for it, so obviously delighted to be back and to be in here today.
Great to be in this kind of facility as well. Weather conditions are a little bit changeable. Obviously, surface is in great nick. It should be a quick enough kind of surface.
Yeah, look, the surface is magnificent here. I suppose the main thing is that the showers that we got earlier this morning stay away, because it turns into a lottery after that. But massive surroundings here, and we're delighted with the Cork County Board to give us these facilities.
Paddy, Cork, having kind of contested for a league title now in a few years, do you feel it'd be something that you'd like to be in the mix for?
Yeah, I suppose. Look, we were motoring well last year, and unfortunately the whole thing got pulled on us. So look, I suppose we like to develop during the league, but at the same time we like to win games as well. So it's trying to get that mix is key. And we're coming with a young team again, and look, every game that we go to we try to win. So a league final would be nice.
That'll do me. Thanks, Paddy. Best of luck. And we're back. Yes, we're here. And you're welcome back up here to the press box in Parky Queeve. A little bit misty overhead now with the grey clouds, but at the moment not really affecting things on the pitch, as both teams are ready to get friendly our officials. There's a captain and joint captain coming up from the Tipperary side of things. Of course, the captain for Cork this year, Linda Collins of Corsi Rovers, and going to have the toss. Both sides going through their warm-ups and everything like that, and I would imagine, Elaine, anxious to get underway now.
We're 6 months away to get back on the pitch, and the players have been back there 3 weeks back at collective training, so it's great to be back out on the pitch, and as you said, on a pitch with the surface like Parky Queeve today. So you might be forgiven for having a poor first touch initially, but out here today there's going to be no room for error. I think the pitch is in fantastic condition, as we've mentioned, and the ball will fly on it, so girls won't be long getting their touch back in.
We got to hear from both managers. We could see there Paddy, not sure he's got to the barbers just yet. Don't know what about Bill's situation is, hiding under the hat. Bill, very much his own man when it comes to the style here on the pitch anyway. But again, both teams, on both managements, I would imagine anxious just to get going now at this stage, because, I'd imagine the last few months holding things over Zoom and everything like that, it has to be frustrating.
Yeah, and I think Bill mentioned, he said every manager thinks they're going great in training until you get out into the pitch. You don't really know, and I suppose, Tip won't look for a harder contest maybe than coming down to Cork to play Cork in Parky Queeve today. Like you said, Zoom and individual training is all fine and good, but it's until you get into championship or into league as it is today and get those knocks and start getting the real physical contact that you just can't simulate in Zoom trainings or anything like that. You don't really know how you're going, I suppose, and the next hour here now will tell a lot, and probably a lot of how they'll face into the next couple of weeks.
Looking at Cork as we train our camera on them here down at the Blackrock end of the ground, Elaine, realistically last year they can't have been overly happy with how it worked out for them in lots of ways, and maybe there would have been a certain amount of criticism for maybe some of their forward play that they were found wanting on occasion towards the end of last year.
Yeah, there was a mixed narrative, I think, coming out of that semi-final defeat to Kilkenny last year. I think they would have went away thinking, we probably left that one behind us, and a little bit of confusion over what the actual game plan was. Did they all stick to it, or when push came to shove, did the game plan go out the window, and did people just go and win it in their own way? So look, we know Paddy's an experienced manager. He's going to do things his way here today, and we expect to see that from the start.
Okay, we pause here then at Parky Queeve for Oran Naveen. No issues with the playing of our own Naveen here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh today. A bit of a shock, if you want to call it that, coming in from the Antrim and Down game in Division 2. Antrim, I hope they don't mind me saying it is a bit of a shock. I'm sure people would have fancied Down with the victory there, but Antrim have come out on top by a goal, 113 to 13 points. As we maybe pan our camera down, we'll have a look at Tipperary just quickly. You know, last year a lot of promise, got to the league final very early doors, Elaine, and I'm sure Bill Mullaney feels, you know, they maybe have a point to prove again this year.
Yeah, Tip certainly has started really, really well last year and built up ahead of steam and had qualified for their first league final in 11 years, I think, courtesy of that great victory over Galway, up in Galway early in the league. And then unfortunately, look, as we all know, COVID hit and the league was never played, and their championship, I suppose, you know, they had some good wins en route to that semi-final, but ultimately fell to Galway here. Now they put it up to Galway for a good, you know, 30-40 minutes of that semi-final, but ultimately the couple of injuries, and they just, I felt, didn't have enough firepower up front. You know, Caughtavan's fantastic forward, you know, pay to have her on any team in any county, but she just probably didn't get enough support up front last year, and I think that's something Bill and his management team will look to strengthen going through the league now, so that when they come to championship this year, that maybe there's more supporting players up there to help Caud in attack, and, you know, maybe settle on a centre back. We saw Karen Kennedy drift in and out of there last year, and, you know, she's a real attacking player as well, and an all-star from Tipperary, so look to find a central position for her and maybe tie down that centre back position either with Karen or with somebody else, and try and build around that. You know, they have real experience there in Tip, so I suppose it's just to bring those other girls along into the spine of that team and try and really build on the momentum they had last year.
5 changes to the Cork team from the All-Ireland semi-final, or sorry, 3 changes. Gemma O'Connor's obviously retired. Pamela Mackey has stepped back this year. You know, Orla Cotter not too far away from the setup, but obviously she's still away. Face and Aisling Egan in the full back.
Yeah, a couple of new players there for Cork, but yet if you still look down at, you know, they still have an Aisling Egan obviously new in at full back, but if you look at the experience that they're under, relatively new enough, but settled into the championship really, really well last year. So, you know, a few new faces, but backbones by that same strength. You know, up the middle you have Amy O'Connor, Fiona Keating, a new player in there as well, and Orla Crowley at centre forward. So a good mix.
So 5 changes on the Tip team from the All-Ireland semi. No Roisin Howard, no Aisling Maloney on the panel. Orla Dwyer still in Australia. They still don't have 3 All-Stars right up the centre spine.
Yeah, like I said, huge experience in that Tipperary team, and, you know, I think if they'd gotten to play that league final last year, I think it would have been massive for them. It would have brought them on in confidence, but I think this year now they need to take some more big scalps. You know, they need to get a couple of wins maybe in the league against the bigger 3. They've gone out of the championship the last 3 years against maybe what you call the bigger 3 teams, the Galways, the Corks and the Kilkennys, so I think they really need to take some of those teams down this year.
So ball is in and the game is on. 1 change on the Tip team. It sees Sarah Friday back, of course, last year in the All-Ireland semi with her knee injury, and she's back playing today for Corinne Blair. This ball moved in very quickly towards Claudia McIntyre from the Laura Dora club, of course, up in North Tip, right at the very point near your next stop is into the county of Galway, and well, she's a famous name, of course. Dad John would have been heavily involved in the GA circles. As ball is on to Thompson. Good interchange of play there, and have Cork struck early with Chloe Sigerson. No, 2 wide straight off, and intense stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely, and, you know, that quick puck out again, catching us on both sides from the wide ball, and the ball straight back into play again on both occasions.
We'll be barely able to take our notes, but we've had 2 wides in the game here then in the early stages, and it's Cork then are on the attack, and it's the form of Hannah Looney, of course, all-star from last year, giving this ball straight into Fiona Keating, getting the Courcey Rovers player, looking to get early hands on it, but she overstepped it, said Liz Dempsey, and it's going to be an opportunity to clear. So wide ball from Claudia McIntyre then coming in the opening 10 seconds, and then a wide from Chloe Sigerson, an all-star as well in her own right, and a lady that we saw produce some monstrous scores from for Cork in both league and championship last year. And I'm sure we'll be on a couple of side-end cuts today if that's the way it works out. It's Tip over on the far side now with Jean Kelly trying to get it on the ball, lose it going forward. Cork there in numbers looking to shepherd that one there. Laura Tracy back helping out, and the other Laura as well, Hayes, is there, the St. Catherine's player, looking to get a bit of help there from Newstown's Ciara O'Sullivan. Ball is lost though, and Tipper looking to get back there in numbers over on the far side, looking to dig it out there. Caughtavan is in there in the action, but it looks like coming out with it is cornerback Libby Coppinger for Cork, giving the ball off here now, looking to charge forward again are the Rebelettes as Katrina Mackey Devon gets the ball forward. Of course, as we said, her twin Pamela taking a step back for this year. Don't know whether we expect to see her in championship, but definitely, I've been told anyway, league she is gone for, and ball is worked forward, and it's going to be a throw ball, I think, in here by Liz Dempsey. So opening seconds here, just over 2.5 minutes or thereabouts, and it's no score yet, but a wide for each, as both, I suppose, getting back into the action here and getting into, I suppose, the close contact. As the ball played forward by Laura Tracy over into the corner, looking for a bit of a run out with the captain Linda Collins, but looks like going to win the race over there is Julianne Burke, the Borris Elite player, looking to step back. Had the option from all-star goalkeeper Anya Slattery, but elected to go the wing side. And it's interchange of play now. Ball down and on. Build on it. And tried to keep it active. There was midfield with Arena Friday, but ball has been lost, and it's Cork's number 6, Laura Tracy, over on the far side. Gets a shout back, a little bit of a heavy pass, but worked out, and Cork have a little bit of space over here as Hannah Looney has time to bend down and have a look at it. The Jewel Star, of course, playing this ball forward. Not a great ball though, and it has been read back there by Tipperary. Looking to play it forward now. Good physical challenge there, maybe first example maybe of that slight physical challenge that is allowed in tackling for the ball anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Big having to show all her experience there and her strength as a cornerback out and gave the contact just at the right stage to knock that ball away.
Thanks for the update there. Someone tell me Claudia is actually a niece of John McIntyre. Okay, so thanks for the clarification. The McIntyre name well known, of course, in the Laura direction, as this is in the hands now of Karen Kennedy, another all-star on this team. 6 in all on the field today, 3 from both sides. As ball goes down the far end of the field now. Tip looking to try and keep some bit of movement. There's been an awful lot of quick pace here. You know, Jean Kelly, Claudia McIntyre doing a lot of movement in the forwards there with Cottavan trying to get on this ball, and both sides, you know, plenty of movement out here today.
Yeah, it's been a really fast opening couple of 4 minutes there for both sets of teams. I think Cork have really set up kind of as they finished last year, you know, dropping really far back and attacking at pace, then trying to get the ball through hands and working it across the line, working to good effect, and maybe just falling down a little bit on the final pass inside. But as you look at it now, it's all the Cork players back inside their own 45 and very few in their attacking end of the field.
Arena Friday looking to get inside this, but she's been held up there by Hannah Looney. Ball is on the deck, trying to come in and help out as well, maybe Claudia McIntyre, but Liz Dempsey said there was a foul committed there, and it's going to be a free in, and it should be an opportunity for Cot Devan. It was Cot's original sideline puck that played all the way across the goal. She probably got too much on it, and but it has worked out favourably enough, and Cot now will have a chance into the city end here with 5 minutes just gone on the clock to put this ball over the bar.
Yeah, caught a really experienced free taker, and obviously gave an exhibition down here last year in that All-Ireland semi-final against Galway, so you know she'll be looking to start on that same thread again today.
So ball is with Cottavan. The opening score then from our point of view of this year's league is here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh after 5.5 minutes, and it comes from Cottavan, and you'd imagine we're going to see her name on the scoreboard a good bit here this afternoon. Quick puck out already happening and on the move, and Cork looking to play that out there with Amy Lee, the Piercy player, looking to get it into the hands here of some of her wing backs, and Hannah Looney was trying to burst out there with Aisling Egan, but foul was committed, said Liz Dempsey.
Yeah, Hannah in possession of the ball, but it looked to me like it was a frontal charge as she's coming out, and I think that short puck out from Amy Lee is something that we're going to see from Cork this year. I was just watching them in their warm up there, and a lot of it was done inside in the corner, working the ball out between the angles and between the players, so you can tell by the way they've set up and the way they're attacking that they are going to try and work it through the hands, and that short puck out was the first indicator of that.
So ball is played in by Cottavan, and ball is put over the bar. That's a good score from Cottavan, and all of a sudden, like buses, 2 scores coming along fairly quickly. Yeah,
great score from Cork from a bit of distance as well, but as we said and as we saw last year, you know, a fantastic player and an excellent free taker, so you know she's had 6 months, I'm sure, to hone those skills that were already top class, so you'd expect to see her unerring today.
Ball is moved straight away down to Sigerson, and she plays a ball in, but it's into the grateful hands of Anya Slattery. And Slattery looking to scoop, but she lost it. It was a good tackle there by Amy O'Connor. It's gotten to Linda Collins looking to play the ball inside. O'Connor with the shot. Ball is in the back of the net. bit of a mix up there by the tip backs, and maybe a combination with Anya Slattery. Not overly sure maybe of the decision making there, and great play by Amy O'Connor, and then good play with herself and Linda Collins.
Yeah, Anya Slattery probably just a little bit lax in the goal, looking for her option outside, and didn't cop Amy O'Connor sneaking up beside her for that hook. And once the ball is on the ground in around there, the speed of Linda Collins and Amy O'Connor combined to get that shot away. Mary Ryan unlucky not to take it off the line, but a real body blow, I suppose, for Tip, having put those 2 points just on the board and then to concede that goal straight away.
Yeah, because it was Cork really haven't threatened them inside the 20-metre line or thereabouts. Even though they have it away, they came from distance as Thompson tried to get onto that, but it's kept away from her by Aoife McGrath. Ball played forward now by centre forward Nicole Walsh. Trying to swing around the house here a little bit. Tip keep on coming, looking to play the ball inside. An opportunity maybe with Grace O'Brien trying to get in there, but it's the van that gets it out. And does she scoop it up good and high? She does, and she's quite happy with it, I thought. But no, umpire said that was wide up there. From a Tip point of view, would have been a perfect chance for them to get level. A bit snatched, I suppose.
Yeah, under a little bit of pressure, but again we see the quick restart from Amy Lee. As soon as that ball was gone wide, she had the ball ready to go and get Cork on the attack again. And I think that's something that's going to be, we maybe didn't exploit it fully in the championship last year. We didn't see huge amounts of examples of it, but I think it's a real, especially with summer hurling, if you can turn that ball around quick and get your team on the attack again from a wide, it's a real bonus.
Especially this here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh as Looney sends it up along the far side looking for Fiona Keating. Ball is cut out there by Clodagh Quirk, trying to play it forward. The Clonulty Rossmore player giving it to Jean Kelly. Kelly giving it back then to Nicole Walsh. Walsh trying to play it across the field to try and find Casey Hennessy, but it's cut out there by Laura Tracy. Tracy will revel in that centre back position as she gets the ball forward here now to Orla Cronin. First real chance we've seen from Orla, of course, all-star winner, giving it to Thompson. Milford's finest, turning on her left-hand side and striking that ball over the bar. Cork punching a few holes there.
Yeah, and look, we see when they attack at pace like that, the space that they can create up front. Orla Cronin did really well footwork to create that space and pass into Thompson. Happy to take it.
Yeah, happy to take the point as the ball is on the move again. Nearly have someone taking notes for us here, because you put the head down and the ball is at the far end of the field. Is coming out with it now, or Cork again though, looking to clear it up from the city end. It is on the scoreboard, 1-1 for Cork, 2 points for Tip, even though the scoreboard here on the ground is showing 2 points apiece, but it is a goal and a point to 2 points as this ball is played in long. It's going to drop here now, and Anya Slattery got to be careful. Last time she did have it, Sigurdsson, it ended up being a goal for Amy O'Connor as the ball is played over the far side. Well read by Tracy though, out in front, and playing well, Laura Tracy, in the opening stages here, Elaine.
Yeah, really reveling in that centre back position, and I suppose better known as a full back for the last number of years with Cork, but around, well able to play out the field as well. And I think the freedom maybe at 6 will give her a little bit more attacking freedom, and the way that Cork are playing at the moment, she has plenty of support back there, so if she decides she's going up the field, she has over there behind her, and Chloe Sigurdsson, Aisling Thompson getting on a lot of ball together here, so just a sign of how Cork are working the ball over and back across the field really quickly and trying to punch holes. Sigurdsson had those couple of shots maybe a little bit short to date, but they'll come in time. She's a fantastic long range striker of the ball, so obviously trying to work her into the space where she can have those shots.
Chance played up along the wing. As you can see, Cork still in front. Ball is played back, and it's fallen well for Linda Collins. The captain of Courcey Rovers popping inside now, gives it to the other corner forward, Fiona Keating. Keating having a shot at the post, and that's a good score and well worked by the two corner forwards. Yeah,
great combination there between the two Courcey's players, and Linda Collins in there so quick and a great hand, did really well to snatch that, and Keating coming straight off her shoulder in the pop pass, so perfectly worked score. And Cork just starting to stretch the legs a little bit here now.
Yeah, this time Anya Slattery not being as much of a rush, just maybe biding her time, letting everyone gets it up. She goes right down the middle now, looking for maybe a bit of a break out of it there, but Tracy's in there and helping out, as well as Laura Hayes. Lippy Coppinger looking to come forward. Coppinger foul, says Liz Dempsey, and it looks like there's going to be the name of one of the Tip players going in the book here. I don't know if we can get close up on that there to see, but Liz Dempsey not overly happy with the challenge that came in. As it darkens here now a little bit overhead, and as this ball is knocked long down into the corner, Here's Amy O'Connor now using her burst of pace, getting out in front of that ball. Shout from the middle of the field, though. It's a long way back to go find someone. She elects though to go short and give it to Fiona Keane. Just got the score. Back to O'Connor, looking to dink a dive inside. O'Connor's already got one goal. She's going 1-on-1 to flick this ball across. Ball is still there. It's on the edge of the square, but it looks like the tip backs are going to deal with it, and it's coming out Clodagh Quirk giving the flick off there. Amy O'Connor is up for this, you would feel.
Absolutely, you know, she's a real corner forward, a real goal poacher, I suppose, from that corner position. Didn't look like there was a whole lot on, but managed to create a fantastic chance for herself and really tested the tip backs.
Ball was looking to be flighted in there to Devan, but it was well read, and all of a sudden then there's a bit of a situation, and I think the foul was called, and I'm not sure Hannah was overly happy with Liz Dempsey the length of time maybe.
Yeah, and I suppose Liz maybe giving her the opportunity to play that new rule that's there, that she could have taken the quick free, but I think Hannah wants to put it down and wants to leave it to Amy Lee, but maybe just a little bit of uncertainty from Hannah's position on the new rule. She could have played that ball out into a quick free and got Cork on the attack again.
Yeah, as this ball comes out to the middle, then Mackie is there trying to win the ball. Katrina, of course, of Douglas, but the ball has been by Aisling Thompson. Thompson playing very effectively here at the moment, really up for it. Chloe Sigerson, lovely ball inside, great control by Mackie now, looking to step around. Mackie, of course, well known as a forward, played very well last year's championship. Gives the ball here to Amy O'Connor out in front of the Mary Ryan there. Ball is lost though, and referee is going to call across the all-star cornerback Mary Ryan and tell her that she was a little bit high there, and it looks like while we might have just had a chat with Sarah Friday the last time, it looks like will this be a bit more serious, because she reckons it was head high there, the challenge from Mull Ryan, and don't see any card, but I would have thought the way she was talking to Mary Ryan there was going to be a flashing of a card, I thought.
Yeah, seemed to be just for the two of them there, seemed to be just a talking. And Liz was happy enough to just maybe take a note of it both, and you know, innocuous enough fouls given, you know, the hurl slipped up around the neck. I know it's head high, but it's more accidental, I think, than anything malicious. So Liz happy to just give the talking to on these occasions.
So you're watching the opportunity here now for Cork to go a little bit further ahead with Orla Cronin having the shot at the post, and she's put it over the bar, and Orla getting her account up and running for the afternoon here. 14 minutes gone. Cork free flowing here at the moment, enough you'd have to feel.
Yeah, I think they're really finding their groove. Obviously you don't know what kind of training has gone on the last 3 weeks and you know what situation teams are in, but Cork's hurling certainly looks to be just that little step ahead of Tips at the moment, and their game plan is clearly one that they've been working on.
No doubt about it. 1-3 then for Cork, despite 1-4 now here on the scoreboard. They're not doing too well, but Tip have put this ball over the bar over at that side of the field, and missed actually the player that got that shot away from the Tipperary point of view, but they have gone on to 3 points. Cork are at 1-3. Their latest score coming from Orla Cronin, that came from a place ball. A Tip with that point. A quarter of an hour gone, 1-3. There's Cork on the attack now. Thompson looking to get inside, using her strength and power to get on beyond this now, as Clodagh Quirk trying to come across and block her off. Thompson still going, but she hits the deck, and ball is being worked out now and cleared by Tipperary. Laura Tracy trying to get there, being helped out by Maeve Cahalane. Throwing the ball inside, Tracy in a bit of space. Sunshine back, in Parky Queeve as we flash between rain and sunshine. Mackie playing the ball off now. Good strong run there from Cronin. Determined little bit of a run. Cronin's already got a point from a place ball. No, drop short, and that's 3 now for Cork. Dropping short. One, in fairness, the drop short did amount to a goal then eventually, but well, I don't think Paddy be overly happy with some of them falling short, as this ball played out now and given to Jean Kelly, offloading it, an interchange of play with Grace O'Brien. Kelly giving it back now and tapping it in down further down along the wing now. Looking to step around the house here a little bit is Nicole Walsh. Nicole with the white helmet looking to give this ball back, and it's a dangerous ball enough inside. It could work out from a Tipperary point of view. Opportunity here maybe for Clodagh McIntyre. She turned on to this and put it over the bar. That's a fine score, and Tip have got 2 on the bounce.
Yeah, great score for Clodagh there. back to the goal, kind of falling backwards from it, but they did really well to work the ball up. Cork have drafted numbers back, so it's harder maybe to get that ball into that full forward line, so they're looking at maybe taking their scores from further out the field and working that little bit harder out here to turn over Cork.
A water break called here then as both teams come in, but Clodagh McIntyre with that latest score then from a Tipperary point of view, they're on 4 points, Cork on 1-3, and really it is that mistake by Anya Slattery that ultimately saw her being dispossessed by Amy O'Connor. Bit of play then between Amy and Linda Collins, set back up Amy again, and even though Anya got back on the line, it just was the force of the shot that got it over.
Yeah, absolutely. Amy O'Connor doesn't miss from that range, so no matter who's on the goal, it's difficult when she's that close. But look, it's, as we said, it's the first day back after 6 months. There's going to be a little bit of, handling is going to be a little bit slower maybe and a little bit off the pace, and I think that's evident from Tip there today. You can tell that maybe they haven't a whole lot of hurling done. Cork, on the other hand, are working on that game plan that they've, that brought them to the All-Ireland semi-final last year. Ultimately, it fell short on the day, but you can tell that that's the game plan that they're trying to develop, and it comes all the way from Amy Lee back in the goal, and it's been worked the whole way up. How many times have we seen Chloe Sigurdsson free in space here in front of us in the ball, worked through the hands, be it from Laura Tracy or Laura Hayes on the far side, through Aisling Thompson or Mackie in the middle, and lands with Chloe Sigurdsson here. Now she's taking the pot shots at the moment and they're dropping short, albeit the one that did land into the goal, but Cork will look at coming towards championship to work those in a little bit closer maybe and get them into those scoring positions.
No doubt, as they were very quick movement, and we were talking already about, as we look at the backroom team down here, Paddy taking a step back. He's alone, obviously, his backroom team to have his say with the Cork team. Just being impressed by their movement in the forwards, because that's maybe where they fell down a little bit in the closing stages of the championship last year.
Yeah, I suppose when Kilkenny put the real pressure on them at crunch stage in the All-Ireland semi-final last year, the plan maybe just fell a little bit short and a little bit of lack of composure, and maybe that comes down to, they're missing a couple of really experienced players. Gemma was in the full forward line, through injury. She hadn't been playing throughout the championship, and maybe that little bit of an inexperience when push came to shove in championship. So obviously if that's the platform that Cork are going to work off, they want to get it embedded straight away and get these new players used to that and build up that experience, so that if that comes in the stage of championship this year, that they'll be able to handle it.
Yeah, well, is the factor of getting them the experience, or getting the scenario where they're getting their opportunity here in the league campaign. As we wait for Liz Dempsey then to give the okay to Amy Lee. Took that ball out. So 1-3 here on the scoreboard, as moving on then is Chloe Sigurdsson looking to get inside the attentions there of the two Tipperary corner forwards, Jean Kelly and Clodagh McIntyre, but the ball has been dispossessed from Cork and then given straight back, and it's Katrina Mackey coming on, giving it off there to our midfield partner Aisling Thompson hearing a shout from Laura Hayes though just knocked the ball into the path of Cronin looking to step around the house a little bit, has to come back off her left side, give back to Hayes, but Hayes is a little bit outnumbered and probably took her eye off the ball a little bit, but in fairness in there Cronin winning that ball back. Mackey back to Thompson going for distance, but again this looks like it's going to drop into Anya Slattery's hand. She makes sense of it and comes out, and thought she led very high there. I thought you'd have to feel, Elaine. Yeah,
if Hannah Looney was blown in the first few minutes for a frontal challenge, I think Anya Slattery did very well to get away with that one.
Well, to me she led with the forearm, and don't know if we'll get an opportunity to watch it back, but Amy O'Connor on the deck, and nothing, says the referee, and ball has been recycled anyway and sent in by Chloe Sigurdsson. Again, that's 5 I count now straight into Anya Slattery's hand. I don't know if there's a breeze looking at the flags. There's not, so it's just Cork, while they might be accurate with the positioning of it, definitely the length is falling into Anya Slattery's hands here at the moment as Laura Hayes plays it down into the corner now, looking for a little bit of run out with Fiona Keating, a little bit of company there, looking to get inside Julianne Burke, and still going now, looking to step inside maybe from O'Connor has to jink and jive, but she's not able to watch this one because Mulrine has it and is able to flick it over to this side of the field. It'll come all the way to Jean Kelly, 13 on her back, but playing in a kind of a wing back role as ball is played to Nicole Walsh. Won't miss Nicole, of course, with the white helmet and the flowing blonde locks, as the ball played over to the far side now to Clodagh McIntyre, but it's well read there by Libby Coppinger, and she's there first to be able to win this ball back. Looking to get through on it there, Kelly. With Cork have it cut off now, and it's over here. It's given to Sigerson. Sigerson now giving it to Looney. Looney looking to play it up along the wing. Ball could be here to be won, but it's well cut out by the Tip cornerback Clodagh Quirk. Ball though tried to be won by Linda Collins, but it's been turned over again by Tip as they try to come out with Aoife McGrath, but the referee says that Aoife McGrath was being fouled, and it is a free out for Tip. McGrath then from Drummond Inch Club playing the ball down into the corner. Of course, McGrath's with they play with Drummond Inch, of course. Well, it's for Club Camogie that they play, but all linked up, of course, with the McGrath's that will play on the Tip hurling team later on. I think all three brothers are playing for Tip later on as the ball is played inside, and that I talk about Noel, John and Brian, but Aoife anyway in the family as well as relations all around. I think all those McGraths are related some way anyway, and you can throw Campions into it as well as this ball is played around the house here by Cork as they look to come forward. And Friday is playing middle of the field here, Cousins, as the ball is played inside for Amy O'Connor, showing a good little burst of pace there. Amy, of course, involved in the Littlewoods campaign during the week, and I'm sure, hoping after today, she'll be one of the names that people might remember. 89% of people said they couldn't tell the name of a camogie player. That's a bizarre fact and stat, isn't it, in lots of ways? It's
crazy to think about it, and even to look at, social media and Twitter over the last couple of hours, there's never been more live streams, more team sheets, more images of camogie players up and down the country. So, I think any of those 89%, it's shame on them for not having to try to educate themselves up to this point.
Yeah, hopefully a lot more will be seen as Sarah Friday tried to play that ball forward, but it's being cut out. And Cork come charging forward again. Sarah, late replacement for Corinne Blair in the team. Sarah, of course, great to see her back at full fitness after the knee injury that she suffered. Made it back all right last year, but probably now with a pre-season behind her, will probably feel an awful lot better as Katrina Mackey gets this ball back, and good little jink and jive there by Sigerson, playing the ball on, scoops it on there. O'Connor looking to show one way and then the other, gets outside, get a little bit of a knock on the elbow there for herself, played it back to Mackey. Mackey stepped back in, and maybe Katrina a little bit lucky she got that. Is it maybe the original foul, I think, on Amy O'Connor?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Liz blew for the original foul or if it was for the chap. I think maybe one of the hooks from one of the Tip girls might have come a little bit high up on the elbow of Mackey, but maybe that's what the original free was for. But again, Chloe Sigerson dropping into that place, and maybe she's realised now that she's a little bit outside her range and opted to try and run that ball down into Amy O'Connor, and Cork playing in a tight enough space there, but they are creating the opportunities, and you feel that enough space that they'll just get to create something inside.
1-3-4 on the scoreboard. Orla Cronin with her second opportunity. Ball is put up high into the Blackrock end, but it's gone to the left and wide, and that's a miss, you'd have to say.
Yeah, Orla will be disappointed with that one. There wasn't a huge distance on it, and she put it right across the goal. So, as you said, not a huge breeze there affecting play either way. So she will be disappointed with that one.
Out to Karen Kennedy, and Kennedy did very, very well under pressure there from Fiona Keating and Amy O'Connor to extricate herself out of that, but maybe that's why she has an all-star award on her mantelpiece at home, as this ball though is played forward and it's cut out there by Hayes, giving the ball back, and it's Cork now over on this far side looking to build on this now, looking to get on to the opportunity and build forward is Cronin, maybe make up for that miss, and she steps inside the attentions of Sarah Friday and Aoife McGrath, playing the ball over towards Fiona Keating. Ball is lost by Keating, but in fairness she keeps it alive and gives it back to Thompson. Thompson goes for range again from 45 out, drops it over the bar. Aisling Thompson has hit two long range efforts, one as good as each other.
Yeah, two great scores from Aisling Thompson, and that's the play that Cork are trying to create, playing the ball over and back and trying to look for those spaces, and when they need to play it back out, to have the likes of Sigerson, Mackey and Thompson coming onto him at pace, and Thompson, when she gets in there, she's well capable of taking those scores.
That Amy O'Connor goal after 8 minutes, the difference between the sides then. My name is Killian Whelan, you're listening also to Elaine Aylward, and it's the coverage of the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. It is Group 2 on Division 1. Cork playing Tipperary. Action over the next few weekends, and plenty of streams, and you can keep an eye on all that, and we'll keep you updated on what things are doing in Athenry at half time, as well as Galway take on Clare, as Thompson goes for this again as she put another one over the bar, and that is fine long range shooting.
Absolutely, Aisling Thompson really finding her range there and coming into her own in the middle of the field, and I think Tip probably a little bit at 6s and 7s, and as I said, the Cork half forward line are pulling out, the Tip half back line are between two minds, whether they're following or whether they're sticking, and that's creating that little bit of space around the middle, and no better person than Aisling Thompson to get into that space and to take advantage. And as I said, 3 points on the scoreboard to her name.
Yeah, Cork seem to have got on top, I would think, in around the middle at the moment, because Tip just not getting the opportunity. As the rain, I'm just looking out at the city end here at the moment, and Cork City is in a cloud of rain at the moment, and now all of a sudden it's advancing down on Páirc Uí Chaoimh, belting down here. I think you'll get to see the camera shot there, and that gives you an idea. Beautiful stadium here, but wide open to the elements, and at least it's not cold. Last time we were here, I don't know how many layers we had on the lane that night. As ball is played inside from that puck out, and it is Nicole Walsh playing it across field now, asking a little bit of work there from Jean Kelly to be able to get to that, but Coppinger plays it and hitting the deck. Referee says it was a throw, and it's going to be a free in, and really Tip's first chance since the water break, really.
Yeah, Libby Coppinger just getting caught again with that new rule for the drop and the hurl, I think is what Liz blew it for. So when she went to ground, dropped the hurl and hand passed off the clearance. So Liz quick to blow that new rule. And yeah, it is Tip's first chance in a long time. And like we said, they're holding out well at the back, and we've seen some good defending from Karen Kennedy and Mal Ryan at full back. But there's only so long you can absorb that kind of pressure, and the out ball from Tip really needs to be a little bit better. They need to find their own players up there, because as we've said, Cork have dropped players back, so aimless clearances are only coming straight back down on top of them again. So maybe just a little bit more time and caution with where those clearances are going from a Tipperary point of view. So
there you have a goal, get back in it again, and there is 25 and a half minutes gone here as the rain comes down. Hard to believe in lots of ways it's the 15th of May, but ball is being won by Devan. There could be an opportunity inside as Arena Friday tries to make advances, but caught. Devan was trying to get the shot off. She was fouled by Hannah Looney, says the referee, and it's going to be free for Cot Devan. And you really don't need to give Devan too many shots a goal, do you?
No, she'll make enough of them from clear play without giving her free shots from frees. But I suppose that's the danger of the Cork game when they are playing that short game. Went short with that puck out. Aisling Egan turned over around her own 45, and it's a fantastic game to watch when it's flowing well and everything's going well. And as soon as you have one turnover, then, and let's face it, the weather here at the moment is not really conducive to that kind of short hurling and short hand passing. And on that occasion, Tip ready to punish.
Don't know how good the jerseys are. We're keeping the hurley dry here, but Cot Devan was able to do enough to get the moisture off it and put that ball towards the goal post, but the umpire has run out to say that it was wide, and maybe the conditions probably just affected that shot there.
Yeah, I don't think you can overstate how heavy that rain was at the moment there, and it probably contributed both to the Cork mistake in the defence and to Cot's wide in that occasion.
Cot has two wides and she's three from place balls as Katrina Mackey comes forward right through the heart of the defence, and here's another lady who will puncture a hole as well. Orla Cronin, one all-star up against the other because she's been matched by Karen Kennedy, and in there digging it out and helping out the defence as Clodagh Quirk was trying to get in there and clear that ball, but it's back into the hands of Mackey, ducking and diving, giving the back out here now towards Fiona Keating. Got a score after 11 minutes and she got another one. She's put it over the bar, and definitely Cork's, you'd have to say this, okay, there's been 5 into the keeper's hands, but they are getting shots off.
Yeah, absolutely, and like I said, they really have a game plan, and they look like they know they're playing to that game plan. Alright, it has fallen short on a couple of occasions when the long distance points haven't gone over, but once they get inside, that's a really dangerous full forward line. Loads of pace and they're loads of speed, and if they can get enough ball into them there, they'll do damage.
Ball played now towards Laura Hayes, but it's been picked up by Nicole Walsh, and she's trying to get forward, but referee says that was a foul. Laura Hayes and Laura Tracy remonstrating with Liz Dempsey there to say that they thought it was good play, but Liz Dempsey giving an opportunity here for Cot Devan, looking for a towel, and you'd have to say the Mayor Command should be on top of that a little bit more.
Additional time in the first half, at least 3 minutes.
Yeah. Cot is going to go minus the drying of the stick with the towel and put that ball over the bar, so she's made light of that, as we are being informed that there's going to be 3 minutes of additional time. 1-6 then it is, with 28 and a half minutes gone. Cot Devan with 4 from place balls, of that 6 for Tip. The Cork goal came after Amy O'Connor scored on 8 minutes. Ball over here towards Chloe Sigerson then from that puck out from Amy Lee. the puckouts, the pace of them have slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the pace got to everyone after the first maybe 20-25 minutes. There was a little bit of tiredness coming into it, but again, one of these new rules that it's great to see. It's going to speed up the game, and the more time the ball is in play in the game, the more we like to see it.
Amy O'Connor to Sigurdsson and to Cronin and over the bar. That's a good score, but look at the 3 players that were involved in that.
Yeah, and look, they've been at the heart of a lot as what has gone on when that Cork attack today. Sigurdsson has had, I don't do stats on her possessions, but she has had a huge amount of possessions there and has done the right thing on so many occasions. Had those couple of shots, alright, as we've spoken about, have dropped short, but has learned from that now, and that's just the experience there. And as we spoke about, Cronin, Amy O'Connor and Sigurdsson, 3 of the most experienced players on the field out there today.
But it just goes to show you the bounce back straight away from 2 points from Devan. Here's Cork now going for another one. Ball is broken down. It's in the back of the net. It just came off of the stick. It was Fiona Keating dropping the ball in. I don't think she expected, but Anya Slattery put up the hurl. I'd say she thought the ball was just going to come back down to her, and it went off her stick and across. She, unlucky I suppose in lots of ways, probably just didn't have herself set right for that, and that's a ball in the back of the net and brings them on to 2-7.
Yeah, it looked like she was just going to hold the hurl up just to watch it drop over the bar maybe, or to try and drop it down in front of her, but we've mentioned the slippery conditions out there and maybe the little bit of lack of hurling over the last couple of months, and unfortunately for Anya Slattery, 2 mistakes there today, and as we said, look, Cork will punish you.
Yeah, Cork have punished her, Amy O'Connor, and now Fiona Keating. I don't think Fiona will be maybe telling too many people about the goal in some ways, because it was more a mistake there, the way the ball slipped off the hurley and into the back of the net. But anyway, it's a goal for Fiona Keating. All of a sudden she's a goal and 2 points to her name. As Cork really now, since the water break, stepped up a gear. Then Tip bounced back with 2 points from Cottevan, and you were only putting a couple of points in it. All of a sudden Cork have hit with 1-2.
Yeah, Cork, as we said, we spoke about the experience, and they've really shown that there, and force the errors from Tipperary. And I suppose if you play enough in that end of the field and keep enough pressure on the Tipperary defence, no matter how good they are, there is going to cracks appear, and especially on the first day out when you haven't had teams together for a couple of months, so there's going to be errors, and Cork the quickest to punish those.
This ball is played in. Liz Dempsey said she is seen enough. I was told there was 3 minutes of additional time. I don't know what way clocks maybe were working out, but anyway, it's come to a halt here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh with regards to the game, and both teams will head down now. Cows can't go to dressing rooms or anything like that, but they'll get in out of the shelter here and keep themselves dry as much as possible, because they got dealt there a fairly heavy shower just before the half-time break. But there, as you can see on the board, don't mind about the clock, because I think that has been malfunctioning at various different times on the scoreboard, but that is the right score now. Cork 2-7, Tipperary 6 points, and maybe got to be careful focusing too much on Anya Slattery, but unfortunately 2 errors and 2 goals, and that's the difference. Yeah,
and that is the difference here today. If those 2 goals hadn't gone in, we'd probably be talking about Cork's play from out the field and the balls that have dropped in, and maybe the missed opportunities that they had, and it's something they probably would have spoken a bit about after last year's All-Ireland semi-final as well, is those missed opportunities up front. But again, I suppose Tip, maybe a little bit of what we saw last year from them again, absorbing a lot of pressure at the back and trying to work it out, but just not really getting any change from that Cork backline. And Cork are playing a really steady game. As soon as they lose possession, they're drifting back. Laura Tracy is back from centre back in front of her full back, and Chloe Sigurdsson, Mackie Thompson, they're all drifting back, and then once they change into attack, they're all changing at pace up the field.
Yeah, I'd have to say the Cork half backline are on top, and that then is obviously a contributing factor to everything else that's working for them. But I've been seriously impressed by their forward movement.
Yeah, and it's when it's the half back line, I suppose, their composure on the ball. They're picking out maybe a Chloe Sigurdsson or an Aisling Thompson around the middle of the field, but as we've mentioned, that full forward line is equally as deadly. And just having a quick look at that goal again there, it's the quick ball in there. Like we said, you've got Amy O'Connor, Fiona Keating and Linda Collins, 3 fantastic hurlers, 3 with excellent pace in there. So rather than dropping those high balls in, maybe Sigurdsson and that need to look at maybe a quicker, faster ball into those full forward line. But they do have the Tip defence at 6s and 7s at times there today. say. In saying that, Mal Ryan and Karen Kennedy did really well on occasion to get a couple of really vital flicks in, and it's just kind of their clearance from their own half back line. And you know, it's understandable, you look up and there's a wall of Cork defenders across the back there because Sigurdsson has drifted back, Mackey is back, Laura Tracy has drifted back, and Laura Hayes has drifted back. So you know, you need to get those clearances absolutely 90-10 to a tip player in order to gain possession up there, because if you lose it, you're just letting that Cork attack build from that half back line again.
Any positives from a tip point of view?
Yeah, look, I mean, they've had some really good players around the middle of the field. As we said, they've been at 6s and 7s a little bit back. Mal Ryan and Karen Kennedy holding that defence again, and you know, credit to Clodagh Quirk, she's come out with a couple of balls there again. You know, they're under a lot of pressure there. Aoife McGrath and Chloe Sigurdsson on this side. It's a difficult one for a wing back. Chloe Sigurdsson drifts so far back the field. It's a poker move. Do you twist or do you stick? You know, you're wondering, should you follow her out? And maybe with a player with the capabilities, Chloe, maybe you try and shut her down further out the field. Maybe you don't let her gain that initial possession, but then you're sacrificing your corner back maybe, and you're letting all that space there and them. So that's something I think Bill and his management team will have to look on at half time. Do they stick with their players and perhaps leave that space and trust their full back line to go 50-50 with them, or do they let somebody sit back and let the rest of the players pick up the Cork players? Because you can't give the likes of Thompson, Orla Cronin, Chloe Sigurdsson, you can't give them that space around the middle of the field.
Yeah, get an awful lot of space indeed, and I don't know, we're just picking up right on the camera. You can see there Bill Mullaney and his backroom team having a fairly energetic chat with regards to maybe what the tactic might be for the second half as the rain pelts down here on top of the stand. Again, it's going to make the surface that even a little bit more greasier, but have to say, pitch and everything here in fine fettle, and never mind it being rain, I think it's hailstones that's belting down here, and that has ended the background chat there, no question about it. Pity the groundsmen and everything that have to be out there in that. Hopefully you can hear me over the noise of what's happening on top of the stand here at half time in the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. It's Division 1 round Group 2 clash between Cork and Tipperary. It is Cork that lead Tip at half time by 2-7 to 6 points. Rejoin us shortly.
Our game's about style. We forge our own path forward. Because our style is substance. Our game's about style. We forge our own path forward. Because our style is substance.
Style meets substance, no doubt about it, here on the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. It is, of course, the Group 2 encounter in Division 1. Cork back out and raring to go. And, you'd have to say Cork always going to be challenging thereabouts. But, I would feel maybe in recent years that maybe things have just got away from them. You would feel that maybe Galway and Kilkenny have probably gone ahead of them in lots of ways. So I'm sure Paddy is probably feeling he's a long time at the helm now, that this Cork team need to get back up there in some ways. Yeah,
there's a huge expectation in Cork. Obviously there's a huge history of camogie and ladies football down here, and they want to be at the top table every year. They don't like to be talked about as the third team and looking up to the likes of Galway and Kilkenny getting to All-Irelands. But the truth of it is, in the last couple of years in those crunch matches when it's counted, Kilkenny and Galway have been able to get the wins over Cork. And Paddy will tell you he's building, and it's a team in transition and all the rest of it. And there's only so long that matches either. That they had 2 good minor wins back in 18 and 19. A lot of those players now are on this panel, and the time to push on, I suppose, is now when you're here. And Cork will be looking every year, and realistically they'll be aiming to be in an All-Ireland final and to be winning an All-Ireland final every year. And to come into a Cork panel or to look at a Cork panel and think any difference is very naive of us all here. So yeah, Paddy will definitely be looking to bridge that final little gap. And they have been there or thereabouts, but as I said, in the crunch games, Galway and Kilkenny have come out on the last couple of years. So Cork certainly looking to change that narrative this year.
I'm sure they are looking to change the narrative as we wait and see how things continue. Just to let you know now that Caoimhe McCarthy from Knockavilla Kickham's is replacing Eire O'Ganicarty's Jean Kelly for the second half. As ball is in, game is on, and Cork looking to get advance forward here straight away. Is shot about to come in. Ball is being cut out. Is letting you know that things are underway for the second half in Athenry. It's ball is over on the far side here, and it's going to be a free. Half time was Clare 12 points, Galway 3-2. So that's some scoring there, with Clare giving their fill to Galway, but Galway finding the back of the net as the free goes Cork's way, and the bit of purpose that was in that tip attack peters out. 2-7-6 it remains. Yeah, and a yellow card for Cotavan there for that challenge. And again, another one of those frontal challenges maybe that we were questioning a few of them in the first half there, but Cotavan picking up a yellow for her one there. Yeah, you just wonder, isn't it? It came very, very early on anyway, as we're into the second half here. Ball is played in, and ball has gone over the bar, and that's a fine score there from Orla Cronin. Yeah, and again, just see how quick Cork can turn that defence into attack. They're defending on their own end at one stage, and then suddenly quick ball up through the hands, and no better player than Cronin to put it over from there. So 2-8 to 6 points then it is here in Páirc. And there's the difference, I suppose, that we've seen now from Cork, is that Tip had a chance down this end. It ended up in a foul ball down the far end of the field. Cork put over the bar. Yeah, and Tip are not lacking experience. They've been at the latter stages, leagues and championship for the last number of years, as we've mentioned, but just up front they probably just don't have the same options as Cork do. And when you look at the spread of Cork scorers from up front, Thompson from the middle of the field, Cronin, Fiona Keating and Amy O'Connor with that goal, just probably a bit bigger spread of scorers at the moment, and that's really the difference. Good play by Kennedy now, looking to play it down the field, trying to get on it there is the girl that's in Caoimhe McCarthy, but the referee says that McCarthy was fouled, and it's going to be a free and a chance for Cotavan. I'd imagine, when Ashley Maloney burst onto the scene last year in the camogie setup, she looks like she's going to concentrate solely on football. Roisin Howard, I believe, is injured. You still have Orla Dwyer in Australia. They're 3 players that probably would make a huge difference here as well today. Yeah, definitely, and I think Orla and Ashing's absence in the All-Ireland semi-final last year probably knocked a bit of the stuffing out of everybody. We were all looking forward to maybe seeing them in All-Ireland semi-final stages, and the Tip girls themselves were probably looking forward to having the benefit of them. And they're 2 huge players, obviously bring a big physical presence as well as everything else to the team, and would be huge support up front, especially with the kind of game that Cork are playing, the tracking up and down the field, and they would be a huge loss. But look, Tip will have to build with what they have, and hopefully Orla Dwyer will be back and we will see her in the latter stages of the championship. Ball is on the chance now for Nicole Walsh, dropping it in, and Tip a little bit guilty of doing the same as what Cork were doing in the first half. Ball is played by Amy Lee, a bit dangerous now over towards Coppinger. Expecting a little bit of her there as she's been challenged by McIntyre as the ball comes out, looking to pop the pass into Tracy's hand. Laura Tracy getting it on then to Thompson, who's had a fine game. Aisling Thompson, 3 points and all from long range as she tried to find Amy O'Connor. O'Connor was waiting for it, and instead reading it there and doing well was Julianne Burke, as Burke looks to come out, looks to have been fouled, and Paddy Murray not happy with Liz Dempsey's decision there, but chance anyway gone a big in there from a Cork point of view, and Tip looking to build on maybe that score that they've just got, as looks like Laura Tracy, I don't think she's picked up a bit of a hand injury after she played off that ball the last time, and Liz Dempsey on the way there, as we can see Tip holding on to the play at the minute. Cork physio coming in.
Yeah, Laura Tracy would have picked up a hand injury in the latter stages of the club championship last year with her club Killa, and missed out on the latter stages of the Cork County Championship, so obviously a little bit of concern if it is a hand injury there for her. But Tip do look to have pushed up on Cork all over the field, and they're not giving them the same freedom that maybe they gave them in the first half there. So, you know, something that Bill and his team I think will have looked at half time is, you know, Cork play a lovely fluid running game when they're in possession of the ball, but maybe we just don't give them that initial possession and try and turn them over in a more advantageous parts of the field for us, and Tip I think certainly have pushed up for the first couple of minutes of the second half.
The scenario finds itself that Laura is okay. I know she's wearing looks like a glove, one of those hurling gloves on her left hand, but she's okay anyway, up and moving again, and watching this ball played by wing back Aoife McGrath down into the far corner, but it's read by the other number 7, Laura Hayes, and Hayes looking to keep this ball going from a Cork point of view. They are the ones in the ascendancy, leading 2-8 to 7 points. Double scores here. The goals coming after 8 minutes from Amy O'Connor and then Fiona Keating, although I think Fiona might have been going more for a point, and it just went in off the hurl of Anya Slattery as this ball played forward, knocked back by Tip. Getting in here now, Cork trying to get moving again in Moulton. Steps being called, but looked very, very innocuous enough that it would be steps as Thompson tries to get in there, but she's held off it by Tip defence. Getting in there was Mairead Everston trying to hold off, and there's Mackie now. Get control. She's been tracked by Aoife McGrath. Ball is flicked back and it's picked up by Sigerson, looking to get away from the attentions of Cottevan. Ball is played inside, but it trickles out over the line, and probably not a great shot, and probably one, you'd have to say, when you consider Cork's efforts, probably one of their worst, I'd say.
Yeah, I think when Chloe Sigerson looks back on the stats maybe for during the week, or when Paddy and his backroom team look back on him, she's going to have a bit of work to do on the shoot, either by distance or accuracy. But look, she's creating the space and she is getting the possessions over there, so it's early days yet, and you know, it's obviously something Cork will work on going forward.
Ball is played up now and very, very quick. It's coming through, but Laura Tracy is going to help out her goalkeeper Amy Lee here and step out around the attentions that might be given to her by Sarah Friday, who's now going in on the edge of the square, it looks like. Ball is played forward to the other lady that's down at the other end on the edge of the square. Amy O'Connor comes out ahead of Moll Ryan and tries to get this ball off, and it's the Fiona Keating with 1-2 to her name, still looking to hold on to this ball, has control of it, lost it and won it back again, throws a pass now, but it's gone out over the sideline, and it looks like it's going to be a tip ball, and Fiona I think was a little bit in two minds of what to do there, and unfortunately the wrong decision made, and it's a side.
Yeah, super defence from Tipperary there. Credit to Moll Ryan, you know, covered Amy O'Connor every step of the way, and every time Amy went to throw up the ball, Moll had the hurl in there ready to get the block and forced Amy O'Connor into going back to Fiona Keating with the pass, and you know, just a real good display of full back play there.
Lovely cut from McGrath, but it's being cut up by Laura Tracy, and she gives it to Thompson to Mackie, linking up to very well, those two, I have to say, and eventually Looney then giving it off, and it's going to be a shot from Sigerson from the angle. Is she made up for the wide that she just got? She has, Chloe Sigerson. That's a fine score and a good bit of play by Cork again.
Yeah, and again it's those key players again, Hannah Looney coming at pace and finding Sigerson out there on the wing. If I'm Tipperary, I'm looking at Sigerson and I'm thinking I'm just going to sit somebody on her now. She's getting no more possessions of the ball today because she's just too dangerous a player. Like, has been unlucky, as we said, with a couple that drop short and maybe the wides, but then she pops up with a score like that and it makes it all worth it.
Chloe Sigerson then with a point. She's had 4 shots at goal in fact, and 2 wides, 1 drop short, and that now a point for her. She'll be glad to get on the scoreboard. A fine score from Chloe Sigerson. But Aisling Thompson, for me, the standout player for Cork in lots of ways, just involved in knitting everything together here.
Yeah, has been really, really effective around the middle of the field, and probably more of a defensive midfielder, but when she attacks from pace, as we saw with Hannah Looney at the last time as well, they're really so well able to work the ball between that triangle there around the middle and pop it to the player then that's in a better position.
Yeah, Aisling Thompson getting in there and winning that ball now and keeping it away from the 2 Fridays cousins, Arena and Sarah. Ball played now from a Cork point of view, though they cut it out, and I have to say Cork moving very, very well out there as this ball over on the far side. Lovely touch. Look at the run by Hayes. Hayes is Mackey if she wants, but Hayes is heading towards the city end. Hayes is going away, steps back out around, maybe should have stayed going back to Mackey. Mackey surrounded, elects to go further back and give it here to Sigerson. Sigerson talk about the shot, steps outside and still going. Chloe Sigerson putting the head down now, coming in. I was heading into the ground. She was parking the car beside me. She didn't need to park off that ball at all because she gave it to Mackey. Mackey's well able to know where the goalposts are as well. Might be in the middle of the field, but she's well able to kid the ball over the bars. We saw she had a fine championship for Cork last year, and Katrina Mackey puts her name on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and options all over the place there for Cork as they attacked. Orla Cronin had peeled free here. Ciara O'Sullivan had made a great run through the middle, but Mackey had made the initial run, and then when the ball was held up, held it again and made a second run. So options all over the place for Cork on that attack.
Yeah, Tip looking to struggle at the moment. Is it going to get a shot off here? Is this ball going to go in and over the bar? It looks like it has, and that's a good score there.
Super reply from Tipperary, and a really good score there from the middle of the field. And they need to see more of that, an attack and that pace and get that ball up there. Don't give Cork the chance to funnel those players back.
Well, Tip needs something to happen for them quickly on the scoreboard, but because they have a lot to make up with. That score from Marina Friday, fine effort indeed from her after 40 minutes. A score that she slipped into a bit of a gap there because I think she utilised being able to get away from Mackey and Thompson, who've been an attacking threat in lots of ways, and I suppose Arena decided to use it against them then, and getting into that pocket there and being able to put that ball over the bar. And now maybe Tip looking to follow up with a score here now from Cottavan. Has already got 5 to her name into the Blackrock end of the ground. The nod from the umpires, the ball has gone over the bar, and Cottavan has her second point of the second half from a place ball, and her 6th in all. Has a yellow card to her name as well in the second half. Eventful enough for Cottavan as referee has drawn attention as the 4th official coming in. There's going to be 2 subs for Cork. Number 20 Izzy O'Regan and Saoirse McCarthy coming on. 2 that know the setup fairly well. An opportunity now, I suppose, to give a break to players as well. So Collins and O'Sullivan gone there. And Paddy obviously feels, he's quite content. He's a 7-point lead. An opportunity now to give legs as Tip also make a change with Emer Lockman is replacing Casey Hennessy. So the 2 Clonalty Rossmore ladies just tap hands as one replaces the other. And the ball is over here now with Tip looking to come on the attack. And Tip, you'd feel, Elaine, need a goal.
Yeah, I think they need something just to spur them on. As you said, Cottavan has 6 points to her name, all from frees. They probably just haven't got to score as freely maybe as Cork have at the other end, and sometimes they need to just break that little spell, maybe just to get a bit of a run on Cork, and that could be the start of it.
And there's maybe a bit of a lift. Cottavan with a fine score, getting in went in one with dirty ball there and just come off the back of the ruck and spun onto it and over the bar.
Yeah, and a good score from distance. Breeze maybe slightly has picked up a little bit since that last share there, and Tip have it behind them now. So, every little thing will help them, and if they can get Cottavan on more ball from open play, I suppose. She's been limited to frees up until this point, but, maybe try and play a bit more in that end of the field and put a little bit of pressure on Cork down there. Yeah, 6 points of a difference now, 2-10 to 10 those goals. As I said, Amy O'Connor and Fiona Keating as Fiona Keating on the ball there, giving it off now to Chloe Sigerson, been very much in this game in the second half, coming in, juggling with it, going to have a shot. Ball is saved by Slattery there, and the ball is going to eventually be taken away. Mulrine looking to play it out here.
Ball is out into the hands then of Arena Friday. Good bit of play. Tip looking to build from the back now. Sigerson was thinking of the top corner. Slattery was good to it, but it's broken down by Hayes. Hayes looking to flick it inside to Tracy. Tracy, the two Lauras linking up and giving it to Thompson. Thompson with 3 points to her name. Looking to come forward now. Thinking of another big one. Giving it off to Saoirse McCarthy. McCarthy looking to get away there from the attentions of Nicole Walsh. Still going. Saoirse McCarthy tight to the left and upright, but it's gone out to the left and wide. That would have been a fine score.
Yeah, really, really well worked score and a great opportunity for Saoirse McCarthy just onto the pitch. But, really strong running from Sigerson initially to get the shot into Anya Slash there. But again, from Thompson in the middle of the field, a really, really strong run and a real determined run from Cork.
Good strong play by Amy O'Connor. There's an opportunity maybe inside if she could get it off Tizzy O'Regan, but she elects to go to Mackie. Mackie's got one already. There's her second. Good bit of play by Amy, and I have to say the puck out a little bit overcooked over Mary Ryan. Amy O'Connor was quite strong. Give it off then to Mackie here in the shout, and the ball is up and over the bar.
Yeah, and again options all over the place. Izzy O'Regan had gone inside for Cork, and I suppose up front they just seem to be able to create that little bit more when they're in possession, and that's 5 points from the Cork named midfield there of Mackie and Thompson, so a sign of how dominant they've been there today.
Well, just goes to show you the two ladies that have gone off for Cork in the forwards were the only two that didn't score. So 4 of the 6 forwards scored, and 2 midfielders have chipped away with the points. As Sigerson over on the far side now, stepping around the attentions there of Caoimhe McCarthy as the ball is played in here now towards Orla Cronin. The light is opened up in the sky a little bit. As the light shone in Cork, no, it's gone to the left and wide, or right and wide I should say, from Orla Cronin. That's our second wide, but it came exactly 22 minutes ago as the ball is played out here. We'll be soon heading towards a water break here, and Cork are buoyed by that as Mackie. Oh, lovely little jink and jive, and she gets inside the attentions there of Kennedy and Cork as the ball is still going, but lost forward. It was a chance for Amy O'Connor, and she was thinking a goal, I would imagine.
Yeah, certainly goal was on the mind of Cork there, and Mackie was heading through the middle, but really, really superbly tracked back by Kennedy, and then Ryan again with that little flick just at that crucial moment and upset that Cork attack.
The Killer players linking up well here now. Tracy to Looney. Looney looking to step inside. O'Connor now, 1-on-1 with Slattery. Here we go. O'Connor going to bear down and shoot back at the net. Amy O'Connor, fine bit of play. You'd have to credit Laura Tracy though.
Yeah, all the way from the back. And again, we spoke about that Cork half back line and how they're so dangerous when they're building from there. But you can see the strong run from the Cork players. Amy O'Connor was 1-on-1 with Slattery, but it was more like 2-on-1 because Hannah Looney was there off her left shoulder for support. Should anything happen, Amy O'Connor.
Yeah, water break called in, so we can stop on our clock there. We are, just to let you know, stopping the clock. That's the water break is, as we know, last year, I think, issues about clock stopping and the time allowed and everything like that. But we are just letting you know, stopping the clock for the water break. It's 3-11 to 10 points. Cork are just in some kind of a groove. I'd say Paddy probably wished he didn't have a water break.
Yeah, it came at the right time for Tip here on this occasion. They're going to need it to compose themselves and settle down again, whereas with Cork they look to be just getting into their groove. They were starting to, the things that they'd maybe fallen a little bit short on, the final passes in that first half that hadn't quite come off, and now certainly starting to come off in that second half, and they're linking up so well, and it's their interplay out around that middle third. It's Laura Tracy to Looney and picking out Mackie and Thompson in the middle of the field that's creating it. But they would just see Looney with the pass off to O'Connor, and the Cork players all over the field have just kept those runs going all day. They've given the player on the ball options every time, and it's really, really strong running up front. But look, Amy O'Connor is not going to miss from there.
No, I love the way Hannah kept running with Amy though, and really she was going to expect that Amy was going to give her the ball. Don't think so. I
think she was looking to get her name on the scoreboard herself. Maybe she thought Amy might pop it after her, but no, a good forward inside in the square is only going to do one thing with that ball, and credit to Amy, probably hasn't had a huge amount of possession in there, but I think she has made count, and 2 goals to her name from what possession she has had.
So just letting you know now that latest score we had in Athenry, Galway 3-7, Clare 13 points. That in the Group 1 in the Division 1. But we are on the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. And it is, of course, round 1 of Group 2 in Division 1. And it's Cork against Tipperary. Don't forget, we've plenty of action over the next couple of weekends. And Kilkenny, they of course in Division 1 taking on Dublin. Dublin side of course that have new management and everything and kind of new vigour. Probably given a fill of it enough to Kilkenny, but it is Kilkenny that have just got a point there now from Miriam Walsh and lead by double scores 1-7 to 5. So don't forget you'll be able to pick up all the scores later on through the Camogie channels. But great to see all the matches. I think nearly every match that's available today has been streamed in some way. So, and there'll be plenty of streaming coverage, as you said, over the next number of weeks. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the Littlewoods and Camogie social media channels, as I think Tip making a few more changes now. I think I see Emer Heffernan coming in there, and I also see number 24 Emer McGrath. So another McGrath added to the mix. So Claudia McIntyre has been replaced. I'm just looking to see which other. I think it's Maria Deviston. So a short puck out coming then from Anya Slattery out to the middle, where it's taken by Thompson. Sunshine now, as you can see, and everywhere in Ireland looks great in the sunshine. As Tip looks to come forward there, but they were held up, and it's going to be a free that's going to be taken by Julianne Burke. Borrisalee player, of course, was looking to take it quickly overhand, but she can't do it overhand outside the 45. So this free going to be taken by Emer Lockman. Lockman then looking to send it down the wing. And that's a good ball now, looking for maybe a run in behind by Caoimhe McCarthy. McCarthy looks to get beyond Sarah Friday and does. Going on, still being tackled there heavily though by Laura Hayes and Maeve Cahalane. Back it goes to Friday. Good ball inside. Ball flicks though off of I think the helmet there of the Tip forward, and eventually it's won back by Nicole Walsh. Walsh having to spin out a tackle here, being tracked by Cahalane and Hayes kept her eye on the ball and comes out with it. Well played, Laura Hayes. Pops the ball inside now. Looking to come forward here, Thompson looking to step away from any attention that she might get and play the ball down here towards O'Connor, but it's well read by Julianne Burke as the ball came through. And back it goes to Slattery. Slattery takes time to juggle it on the hurley and play it down the middle of the field. Good ball taken inside. Chance for Arena Friday now to pop the pass off to her cousin Sarah. Sarah looking to step in now, charging forward. Coming on now, has a bit of a shout outside from Karen Kennedy. Been quite enough game for Karen. Ball lost forward though. Cork there in numbers, 3 around Karen Kennedy. She's looking to struggle to hold on to it. In fairness to Kennedy, hasn't given up the ghost, being helped out in there. But it looks like she's won it back somehow. Ball is back towards Arena Friday. Going to have a shot off. It's dropping in and over the bar. 2 good scores from Arena Friday.
Yeah, and that's better from Tip, you know. And I think we saw Karen Kennedy busting forward there, and you talk back at the goal against Cork or against Waterford in that quarter final last year, and that's what she offers Tip, I suppose, from the middle of the field and moving into attack like that. And you know, it's a bit of a gamble. You're at the stage of the game now where you probably want to push her up. You probably want to get a few scores on the door, but maybe you open the door at the back for Cork. But no, much better from Tip on that occasion.
Sarah Friday's race has run, and number 25 coming in is Grace O'Toole from Newport Hinch. Grace will endeavour, I'm sure, to probably get in and take some kind of a chance, with the Cork defence being quite mean today, as Lippy Coppinger threw that ball to Aisling Egan, and Aisling has to go back and win it, and in fairness to her, hasn't had a whole lot to do today. And she's probably quite glad to see Sarah Friday gone off. She's done her job in that regard, and probably not a bad start for Aisling Egan coming into the setup. No,
certainly not. And as I said, you know, she's coming into a really experienced set of backs there, and Laura Tracy outside her, and obviously dropping back on occasion to protect her even more. So, you know, the type of game that Cork play is you're always going to have plenty of protection in that full back line. But, you know, Aisling Egan has started really well today, and as you said, dealt with anything that came her way.
And there's another score for Arena Friday. She's after popping up well there. Nicole Walsh took that, in fairness, went straight at the Cork defence and then just had a shout outside. In fairness to Arena Friday, she's after hitting 2 on the bounce. Yeah,
and I think that's what we expected to see more of from Tip. You know, they are that kind of a team that they can hurt you when they're on the attack. But I suppose for most of this game, for the initial, 40 minutes or so, they've played it on Cork's terms, and they've had their backs to their own goal. So a chance for them now to get up front and show what they can do up there.
And all of a sudden, they're hitting a few on the bounce here. Well played by Aoife McGrath over on the far side. Ball eventually to Nicole Walsh and over the bar, and Tip, as you said, have hit 3 very quick there.
Yeah, and they're just not giving Cork that possession. They're not giving them the sharp puck outs anymore, and they're forcing them to go along with them, and they're giving themselves a 50-50 chance on that occasion. And when they turn them over, they're well capable of scoring when they get up there.
But you look at the scoreboard, it's 14 scores to 13. That'll tell you just in a way the goals ultimately deciding this factor. But Cork have been very good in that regard, as Slattery comes out now and elects to play the ball over to the far side of the field now, where Grace O'Toole takes it down, looking to protect it now, being challenged by Lewis, still holding her off well, you'd have to say, and popping the ball, a nice ball inside towards McGrath. Aoife McGrath now has a chance maybe for Friday, but blocked off there by Laura Tracy. Tracy not giving her a little bit of an inch of Páirc Uí Chaoimh. She looked to get inside, foul, says the referee, and a chance for Cot Devan, and it could make it an interesting last few minutes here if this ball goes over the bar.
Absolutely. Cork looked to be cruising and made a couple of changes, I suppose, and Tip making the couple of changes. And you'd have to say at this moment it looks like the Tip ones have reinvigorated the Tip attack up there, and we're seeing more of the play in that end of the field than we've seen for a lot of the first 40 minutes of the game, and Tip looking to really finish strong.
10 minutes to go. Cot Devan stands over this then with an opportunity to hit her 8th point of the game. It will be her 7th from place balls as she comes up to this into the Blackrock end and puts this ball down and puts it up and over the bar as the umpires go for the flag. Cot Devan with her 8th point of the game then, and it narrows the gap again even further. 14 scores apiece, but goals win games, as an old commentator used to tell me one time. That's what it's all about. The goals, putting them in the back of the net. Amy O'Connor with 2, Fiona Keating with 1, and Cork lead 3-11 to 14 as this ball played along the line now. Water break have got 4 on the bounce.
Yeah, absolutely. They're finishing really, really strong here, and this is the Tip I suppose we come to know in the championship last year and come to see to get to that All-Ireland semi-final last year, and maybe fell a little bit short there, but this is certainly more of the Tip that we'll need to see going into the summer.
So that ball there, one by Tip, and another chance for Cot Devan, and this would make it very, very interesting then. Now I know you're still looking at a 6-point lead here for Cork at the moment, but fairness to Tip, they've got the bit between the teeth and hitting very, very, I'd have to say, very, very good play. There's no question about it here from a Tipperary point of view. Emer Heffernan winning that ball, and eventually it saw Nicole Walsh foul. Devan now with this opportunity, we're right in line with it, going to have a shot at that left hand upright. She puts the ball right over the black spot. Caught Devan on the bounce now. That's her 9th score. And with 5 minutes and whatever additional time to be played, all of a sudden Tip have hit 5 on the bounce, as we said, since the water break.
Yeah, the momentum is really with them, and I suppose this is the real acid test of that Cork game plan. It's fine to play it when you're on top, but when the pressure comes on, as it did against Kilkenny in last year's All-Ireland semi-final, do you stick with it and do you have the patience to see it out? Whereas, a little bit of frustration maybe seeping into some of the Cork play with the last few minutes there when they're forced to be on the back foot and not to play the game the way they wanted to play it.
McGrath is playing very, very well. Aoife McGrath getting the ball here to Cole Walsh. Back it goes now to Heffernan. Emer Heffernan with the shot. It's tight to the upright, but it's gone out to the right and wide. You probably credit the Cork defence there that it had to come in from distance, but that would have been right in the melting pot if that had gone over.
Yeah, that would have put the real pressure onto Cork again, and you can see Laura Tracy asking Cork to slow it down and to maybe run down the clock a small bit, and it's totally the opposite to what we were seeing from Cork in the first half. It was the quick puck outs, it was turn the thing over quickly and get going again, whereas obviously it's an energy sapping game, and whether you can do it for the full hour or not remains to be seen maybe. It's probably what let them down a small bit last year against Kilkenny. They just couldn't keep that game plan, that running up for when the intensity levels lifted, and similar enough here today. Once Tip have kind of put Cork on the back foot a small bit now, the game plan is coming into a little bit of questionability, and happy now to just slow it down maybe and recompose themselves.
Just interesting there that Laura Tracy's pulled the backs kind of together and they're having a little bit of a chat maybe to kind of reinvigorate the game plan. That you can see they're just all having a little bit of a chat here as Maeve Cahalane has been replaced by I think another new addition to the Cork setup with Cleana Dooley of Balnora, who's into the setup there. And this probably suits Cork in ways. It just takes the pep out of maybe Tipperary's step here a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. I'd say a strategic move maybe there by one of the more experienced Cork players to go down with that injury just on this occasion. Tip, as you said, really had the bit between their teeth, and they were coming with all the momentum and had all the scores, and Cork were finding it hard to get out of their own half of the field. And we'd seen Laura Tracy maybe telling Cork to slow it down, getting Amy Lee to slow down the puck out and maybe compose themselves a bit, and Aisling Thompson, they maybe took it to the next level and brought them that minute or two there that they needed. It gave Laura Tracy the chance to talk to the backs and set up again, and they're going to go short again with this one.
Yeah, puck out goes over Coppinger's head though, and got to be tracking back there. Hannah Looney, Grace O'Toole is up alongside her, but in fairness to Looney, steps out well, and well played by Hannah Looney. Found a bit of a gap there and is still going. Looney lifts some of the pressure off of maybe the backs. Back it goes, and Cork looking to build across the field here. An opportunity maybe to divert it by Coppinger over here towards Hayes, but in fact she's sourcing out an opportunity here for lady that's not long on the field. Izzy O'Regan did very well, Izzy, but unfortunately gave the ball away. Tip looking to get forward. The ball is knocked on. It was just on the line. The linesman quite happy to let that ball continue, and it's going to be a sideline cut here for Tipperary.
Lovely pick up.
15.
Lovely pick up by Caoimhe McCarthy there, just down along the sideline. Did really, really well to pick that ball under pressure.
Ball played in field and by Emer Lockman. Steps inside then from Karen Kennedy. Ball is inside. If there was a goal on here now, opportunity for O'Toole. Could play it, but well read, you'd have to say. Amy Lee spotted that from a long way out and raced from her goal just to make sure it didn't end up in the back of the net.
Yeah, she's been really quick off the line all day, and really, really well marshalled defence in front of her, but came off the line right in the nick of time there to alleviate any pressure there and set Cork on the attack.
Good play there by the Tip defence though, starting to go into it a little bit, and Cork haven't scored since the water break. That'll be the one worry from Paddy's point of view.
Yeah, and he made those couple of changes, and for the initial couple of minutes, I suppose it did look like it was going to have effect, but Tip have certainly taken over since then, and Cork will look to get on the scoreboard, and no better woman than Amy O'Connor to give them that chance maybe.
Yeah, maybe relieve the pressure. It's up and over the bar, and there you go. Class is permanent.
Absolutely, and we mentioned, the couple, she hadn't had a huge amount of possession in that first half, but anything she did really well with. And again there, probably hasn't had a possession since the goal, and that's maybe her first one, and straight over the bar with it.
I'm hoping if Littlewoods did the survey again tomorrow, that after today that there'll be a few more camogie players that you might know of. You'll definitely know of Amy O'Connor, 2 goals and a point to her name today. Fiona Keating maybe one to look out for. How about Aisling Thompson? Fine game from her, and Laura Tracy as well from a Cork point of view. For Tip, Cot Devan, Karen Kennedy, Arena Friday. She had a fine game, there's no question about it. There'll be names I hope that you'll know of after today's encounter here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It's the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. It's Division 1, it's the Group 2 between Munster rivals Cork and Tip, and it looks like Cork have just done about enough here now in the closing stages to be able to get this the points here and advance on into round 2 of the encounters that will take place next weekend. Coming helter skelter as this ball is played forward. Opportunity now for some of the Cork bench. Cleena Healy looking to get inside on the top of the D, but she's well marshalled there by Karen Kennedy, and the ball is going to be cleared from the Tip backs and over to the far side of the field now. McGrath lets it beyond her a little bit, and Sigerson comes on strong. Ball, opportunity to play the ball across the field now. Going to be in here maybe with the goal scorer Fiona Keating. Keating though loses that ball, and Tip looking to build from the back. The Van back helping out, plays it down here towards O'Toole. O'Toole looking to step inside. Could be an opportunity for Heffernan, but it's well cut out there by Looney. Looney deflected it into Thompson's path. The ball is on the move now. Thompson to Sigerson. Sigerson from distance, but I think Chloe, when the statsman, as you said, will talk to her during the week, there's unfortunately a few bad ones in there.
And I think she knew it herself the way she hung her head. As soon as that one had left the hers, she knew it was the wrong option to take, and knew it was drifting to the wide. So I guess we know one thing she'll be working on training during the week.
Fairness to Paddy now running the bench. Isabel Sheen is on there and replacing. Not a bad game for Fiona Keating. Maybe second half the ball didn't just run that way, but she got a goal and 2 points as the linesman goes in. 5 minutes I think I see given by Liz Dempsey, so we still have a little bit of time. Don't forget our clock was stopped for the water break there, in case you're wondering.
All pressures and Araba could not need additional time in the second half, at least 5 minutes.
So I'm not sure. We might just need to seek Dave clarity from Crow Park as regards to stopping the clock at the water break, and whether the referees are following that whole thing, because I think we're now here officially on the stadium clock a minute into injury time, and as you can see on ours, still 2 minutes of normal play. But clarity on that clock will be important, as this ball is set down by Cot Devan and puts that ball over the bar. Good day by Cot Devan, and it's been a fine second half here.
Yeah, it's rare she has an off day, isn't it? I mean, you could use a plenty of paper after Cost's name on a score sheet any day to keep talking up those points. And I suppose we're talking about the 5 minutes extra time. Tip will be longing for every minute of that extra time, because they really are in the ascendancy here, whereas Cork I think will be happy now to just run down that clock and get out of here with the points.
10 points then for Cotavan, 9 from place ball. She had a couple of wides as well, and she's had a yellow card. Right mixed bag of everything here as Cork look to come forward again. Good strong play by Izzy O'Regan, and she's pulled back there. 3-12 to 16 points. It's been a fine open game, and you'd have to say, Elaine, I think these new rules make a hell of a difference.
Absolutely, and I mean we spoke about it for the first 5 minutes there. We couldn't keep the pen to paper to keep up with the puck outs and stuff, to keep track of the things, and you know the players are coming back and they're in unbelievable condition, the strength and condition that's been done over the close season, and we're finally getting to see the game flow, and it is flowing. Like the speed of the game here today, the amount of scores, 3-12 to 16 points, you know, high scoring games, and you know that's what you need to see and that's what you want to see, and that's what we've been treated to here today, certainly.
So Chloe Sigerson with this opportunity has only got 1 point to her name in this game, and it was a fine score indeed as she got this from distance off the upright. Poor old Chloe, she's had some amount of shots. Unfortunately, she's only got one. As this ball is played down the field, I'm sure Chloe will be back in the field during the week and having a go at some of her long range shooting. As Aisling Thompson plays the ball across the field. Between Aisling Thompson and Katrina Mackey in the middle have got 5 points. That's some take, you'd have to say, from their midfield partnership. Absolutely,
and around the middle of the field there is where Cork have been really dominant, and whether they're going back to help the defence or whether they're going forward in attack, they've been working together as a unit. Buoyed by Hannah Looney there at wing back, and Thompson and Mackey working really well off her around the middle of the field, and that's why they have 5 points between them.
On this Slattery Camogie lost control of the ball, but it has been won back by Karen Kennedy. Is on our clock now. We are in the injury time. Still a bit of time to play as the ball is down the far end, and Amy Lee's able to step out and give it out here to Hannah Looney. Just to let you know, up in Athenry, Galway 3-10, Clare 15 points as they head into injury time. That's quite a close encounter, more closer I think than some people might have expected. I'll just get Elaine to check on Kilkenny and Dublin. I'll give you an update on that one here, but 3-12 to 16. It's Tip with 16 scores to Cork's 15, but the goals, as you said, making the difference. As this ball skated on here, an opportunity maybe for Tip to get inside, but no, there's not going to be any goals today. As on the scoreboard, it's 11 points to 6, so 1-8 to 6 for Kilkenny over Dublin. As Laura Tracy plays the ball over to the far side of the field. Here's Sigerson winding up again, going for another long range effort into the city end, dropping in and dropping over the bar. She was determined she was getting another one. If at first you don't succeed. And that's exactly the kind of play that Cork have been trying to build up to today, I suppose. That great ball out, lovely cross-field ball across into her, and in the time and space then to put it over the bar. So, you know, it's when they work out, they look fantastic. And here are Cork on the attack again. Ball is moved on. Amy O'Connor playing it to Mackey. Will Mackey give it back? Mackey goes! Ball is deflected out. Thought maybe O'Connor was the ball to give, but Katrina Mackey goal on her mind as well. We know she's well able to get some of the scores also. Probably a little bit high and suited Anya Slattery, and I'm sure we'd have to say give credit to Anya. We probably mentioned the mistakes that she made that ultimately cost 2 goals from to be conceded, but she's made 2 good saves as well here in the second half. Yeah, has really come into her own again in that second half there, and has been commanding with the puck outs and with the deliveries, and has done some really good sharp puck outs and good short deliveries out to her backs and set them up again. But just to see again the speed of Amy O'Connor, gave that pass to Mackey and then happy to go again to try and get the return, and that's the way the Cork midfield half forward line have been all day, is they've been hungry to go and support the player in possession of the ball and drive forward. Sigerson from the 45 puts this ball up and over the bar. Chloe Sigerson all of a sudden has 3 points to her name, and there it is, the done and dusted then, as we crashed on with the time here. Ball over the bar from that 45 from Chloe Sigerson, wrapping things up here then, and fine victory for Cork in the end. Took them a little bit of time to get going in the final quarter, you would feel, because there was a bit of pressure after that water break came on from a Tipperary. You know, Tipperary hit 6 on the bounce, and probably were putting themselves in the mix, but Cork, credit, kept it going and took some fine scores at the end. Yeah, and when the great need was greatest, the experienced players, the likes of the Hannah Looneys, the Sigersons there, and Aisling Thompson popped up and took back control of the situation, I suppose. But, you know, from Paddy's point of view, he got to empty the bench in that final quarter there.
as you said, from the last water break, they only scored 3 points and they conceded 6. So, something to look at maybe going forward. But certainly the type of high energy game that they play, they're going to have to stick with it for the full 60 minutes, because when Tip did get on top of them there, they did make a count on the scoreboard, and you just feel that maybe if Tip could have brought something like that from earlier in the game and imposed themselves a little bit more on that Cork game plan, maybe not conceded those sharp puck outs and the possession to Cork from the start, that maybe they wouldn't have allowed to build them so easily from the back.
Looking at it, Paddy will probably be quite happy with the chances that they took, and as you said, the game plan obviously was working from a Cork point of view. The only negative maybe he might find is that after the water break they lost a bit of momentum. Now I know he made changes, and maybe he'll write this off at the fact that it was the changes and whatever, but that might be the thing he'd be picking up on. Yeah,
and I suppose a small bit of concern for him is it's that type of game plan that let them down against Kilkenny last year as well, and in or around the same time of the game, when around the 40th minute last year when Kilkenny looked to kick on, that's when the Cork game plan started to crumble a small little bit, and we saw it again today when Tip started to get that little bit of possession and get the bit of momentum. The Cork game plan crumbled for a few minutes there, so that's something he certainly have to look at and worry about and wonder, that if crunch comes to shove this time in Championship hurling at 40 minutes in, have they the confidence in that game plan, have they the players to execute it, and can they see it through?
Standout players for Cork?
Look, the middle of the field, Katrina Mackey and Aisling Thompson. Any day you finish with 5 points from your midfielders, I think you can happy. Chloe Sigerson, we mentioned the stats man will be on her back a little bit maybe with the wides and the amount of drop shots and missed shots maybe, but on the same time, if I was Chloe, I'd be countering back to him with the amount of possessions that she had. She got into super positions up this wing on numerous occasions in the first half, and again in the second half, even though she was maybe a little bit monitored a little bit more closely, she still got into position, still made those runs. Laura Tracy's excellent at centre back, really held her own there and allowed set up attack after attack through Hannah Looney. Laura Hayes is another one. I think Cork have a really good solid defensive setup. When Thompson and Mackey drop back into it and Chloe Sigerson drops back up, that's when they attack at pace, and that's when they're the greatest. Inside in that full forward line, Linda Collins mightn't have got on the score sheet today. Fiona Keating's finishing with 1-2 and Amy O'Connor with 2-1 in there, so not a bad return from your full forward line either.
And looking at it from a Tip point of view, Cork probably dealt with their all-star threats maybe defensively. I thought Karen Kennedy had a quite enough game. Mulrine, had her hands full all game as well, but it was probably the likes of as you would expect, Cotta Van leading the way with the scoring, but Arena Friday from the middle, Nicole Walsh probably on the other occasion as well, they were probably their standout players. Yeah,
I think so, and look, credit to Mulrine and Karen Kennedy, you're matched up all-star and all-star back there, so you have your own hands full, and it's hard to get anything above that maybe on a day when you are marking an Amy O'Connor and an Orla Crone, and you have your job that day, and it's a big enough task. And look, we saw Karen Kennedy drive forward on a couple of occasions there, and that's what she offers Tip going forward, but it's whether Tip are going to sacrifice her at the back to bring that attacking role to them. But up front, Arena Friday, probably played second fiddle around the middle of the field for a long time to that really strong Cork midfield partnership, but when she started to come into it and Tip managed to, I think once Tip stopped Cork getting their own puck outs and getting their own possessions, they were able to impose themselves on the game a bit more, and Arena Friday finished with 3 points from the middle of the field as well, so huge contribution there, and it just shows you how important it is to try and win that midfield battle.
I'll let you have a think about a player of the match that we might be able to pick out from the sides, but just want to give the scores from the games then that are in Division 1. So Galway were taking on Clare in Athenry. I think a game affected by the weather a little bit more than our game might have been here, but Galway eventually with the goals winning games. Cork and Galway getting them, they might have scored less scores, but the goals were the difference. Galway hit 14 scores, but they got 3 goals to 1-3-11 to Clare's 15 points. Kilkenny and Dublin, bit of a close game, I suppose. Dublin buoyed by maybe the recent new management and everything, closer encounter, but Kilkenny came out on top by 1-8-6, and here, similar to above in Athenry, it was goals winning games, and a case of Cork just about getting 17 scores to Tipperary 16, but the goals being the difference at 3-14 to 16 points. Back to you, Elaine, who's the standout player ultimately?
Yeah, look, I think we're probably critical of some of her shooting from out the field, but I think just from her possession, from her general possession, from her play, I think Chloe Sigerson was the standout player for me. She was a link player on so many occasions, from that Cork defence up to attack, and alright, she mightn't have converted them all today, but I think she certainly stood up for me and put her hand up as a real leader on this Cork team.
Yeah, well, there was a few, but yeah, I'd have to show up in all sorts of places, and as we said, she might be bothered by the statsman during the week, but she still was able to chip in with a couple of scores at the end, and 3 to her name in total. Before we wrap up, Elaine, and plenty more, as we said, we'll tell you about the streaming coverage to come next weekend here on both the Littlewoods and Camogie channels. But, Paddy, as we said at the start, probably people, would have been critical of maybe how Cork finished out this season. Important maybe that, they got a bit more movement in their forwards and took their opportunities. Today, definitely for the first half and maybe the first 7-8 minutes of the second half, taking every opportunity.
Yeah, you can definitely see the game plan that they're trying to work to, and when it works, it really, really works, and we could see that there today. The worrying thing, as I said, will be that kind of 40-minute stage when it seemed to fall apart a little bit, that there was a little bit of confusion, and I suppose a little bit of a lack of belief maybe in the plan. But look, he has that to work on, and they obviously have a blueprint for the way they're going to play. This is the way it's going to be. Paddy won't mind whether anyone on the outside thinks it's the right way, the wrong way, or any way in between. That's the way Cork are going to play this year, and they leave it up to other teams to try to counteract that. And I think he's trying to blood those new, fresh, young players into it, and it's a big ask for them. They're stepping into a really, really experienced team, and a team, like we said, that expect to be challenging for honours every year at All Ireland level. So that's the level they'll be aiming for, and it'll be up to other teams to try and come up with their own way of counteracting that running game and that playing from deep that Cork are doing.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see now, as we said, how to play on. But of course, as we know, a shortened league, it's going to be quite bridged, and you just wonder, will the league be considered a bit of a bonus this year and its focus ultimately championship?
Yeah, I don't think anyone will go out with the sole aim of winning the league this year. I know Bill spoke beforehand about maybe finding a couple of players. You don't even really have the time to, your players. You just need to find the ones that you can put in when it comes to the White Heated Championship battle. I suppose Cork are maybe a little bit more ahead on that, given the length of experience and the experienced players they have on that team. And then, it's a tough game plan to break into and a tough team to break into, but some exciting young prospects on the bench there, and he got his chance today to run them out. He'll get another chance next week, and Cork will probably get to a quarter final, at least maybe a semi-final of a league, and anything after that I think will be bonus territory, but it will all be eyes down ready for championship, I think.
Yeah, eyes down ready for championship. The big three as such have won out here then today, with Cork, Galway and Kilkenny all getting their league campaigns up and running with victories over Tipperary, Clare and Dublin. With my thanks to Elaine Aylward as always for her excellent views and analysis of this encounter, to the Entray team who've been in the background, Shane, Emma and David. Don't forget, we will have a reaction from the management teams coming up later on the social media channels. Just not the facility here to be able to do them live because of this at the moment in time, but we will both camps, so we'll be endeavouring to bring that to you. But hopefully, as we said, you've enjoyed the coverage here, and it's great to see Camogie action up and running for 2021, and by God, we're going a hell of a roller coaster for the next number of weeks. As I said, with thanks to my team and to Elaine again, I've been Killeen Whelan. Keep an eye on social media channels during the week with both Littlewoods and the Camogie Association. We'll let you know where we are next week. Good luck to you.
Our game's about style. We forge our own path forward. Because our style is substance.